Hey, I'm Sam Slater. I was a skilled British mechanic and I snuck into the United States as a farmer to spread the secrets of the British textile industry. After establishing many factories and mills, I had trouble hiring enough workers because of their lack of interest in factories. In an effort to find more workers, I established the Rhode Island system. This system hired entire families to work and built housing and stores for the workers. I'm Eli Whitney. I came up with the idea of mass production by creating interchangeable parts. My contribution helped to speed up the production of more efficient goods. I proved that us as Americans could improve the British technology. I'm Albert Gallatin. I believe that few people would choose working in a factory over owning their own farmland because in the United States there was a lot of cheap fertile land. My name is Francis Cabot Lowell. I'm a businessman from New England. I created the Lowell system, which was based on water-powered textile mills. Unlike the Rhode Island system that employed entire families, I employed young, unmarried women from the local farms. These young women wanted to earn a profit in order to help support their families. I'm Sarah G. Bagley. I was the first woman to hold a position in the labor movement. Because of the labor unions that were formed, some states decided to pass 10-hour workday laws, shortening the amount of time that people spent working. I'm Robert Fulton. I tested my first steamboat design in 1803 and then continued experimenting with them. The steamboat was well suited for river travel. It could travel upstream and did not rely on wind power. The effect of these steamboats on the economy was that goods could be moved quickly and cheaply, increasing trade and profits. I'm Peter Cooper. I built a small but powerful locomotive called the Tom Thumb that showed the speed and power of even the smallest locomotives. This increased the use of railroads and the success of the economy. It reduced the shipping times and cost of goods and also linked major cities, helping to tie communities together. Although railroads were becoming more popular, we still faced challenges. For example, in America, we have many type curves, rivers, and very steep mountains that the railroads had to travel on. I'm Samuel Morse. My career took off when I perfected the telegraph in 1832. During my time, there were many factories that relied on water-powered engines. Eventually, factories began to use steam power. Instead of having factories be built by rivers and streams, they can now be built almost anywhere. Factories were now located closer to transportation centers, providing easier access to workers. I'm Catherine Green. I owned a farm where workers used a machine that removed seeds from cotton. This machine did not work well on short staple crops, so Eli Whitney perfected it for me. Because the machine had to be manually turned, it increased the demand for slaves. I'm Hinton Helper, and I supported industrial growth in the South. However, there were few industries in the South. This is because in the South they were more focused on farming instead of factories. Hello, I'm Frances Ann Campbell. Planters had more power and wealth than yeomen did. Yeomen owned small farms and had very few slaves or none at all, whereas planters were the wealthiest of all of the members in the Southern society and owned many slaves. The rich people used their religion to justify slavery, arguing that God created some people, like themselves, to rule over others. I'm Solomon Northrop, and I was a free African American until I was kidnapped in Washington, D.C. I spent 12 years as a slave until I proved that I was free. Slaveholders viewed slaves as property and they sold them to make a profit. They also made slaves' life in poor conditions. If slaves were good, they were offered rewards, but if they were bad, they would be punished. Some slaves worked in their planters' homes. They had better food, clothing, and shelter than field workers, but they often worked much longer hours. I'm Nat Turner's ghost, and I was a slave who heard God tell me to end slavery.
Created using Powtoon.